What's up, lads, and welcome back to my channel. Except for today, I'm doing something a little bit different.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, except for I'm not exactly on my channel and we're not going to be making anything today, but we have an interesting subject.
Hi, my troublesome. It's Miracle, and welcome back to Mind of Miracle. I'm so happy you guys decided to join me today. And honey, we are doing what we do best, and that is minding other people's business. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a little comfort pillow. Go ahead and pour yourself a little drinky drink, honey, because I got the hot cocoa for you.
Hey, it's me. So today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about Brucey.
So, honey, as you can see, we are talking about our dear and loving friend Brucey Bruce and his interesting relationship with TeaTrigger. Now, initially, they were on good terms, and it seems like their differences started to compound around March 12th, 2020.
On March 12th, 2020, TeaTrigger ended up responding to Bruce Allen's post saying, "I dare you to be critical of them." This was in reference to the fact that Bruce helped to promote a new upload from Nick Snyder and Dustin Daly revolving around another creator.
However, we were fully aware of their lack of relationship after TeaTrigger publicly ended up sharing his displeasure about Bruce, chiming in when the larger drama channels were trying to spin the narrative that TeaTrigger and Ellie ended up having a falling out in relation to Ellie's thread all about Hortouche, the account responsible for doxing Here for the Tea.
Despite the fact that Bruce Allen took the time to read TeaTrigger's response several times in reference to this matter, Bruce was very adamant in spreading a certain narrative.
Okay, so after all this happened, TeaTrigger then put out his own thread trying to discuss some things, and here's what he had to say. Okay, Cabin Fever crew, my falling out with Ellie has nothing to do with her thread on the doxing. What happened to Here for the Tea happened to her, and the people that supported her doxing documented themselves online. It's pretty obvious who supported this harassment. Using a separate falling out to try to clear your names is disgusting. Nice reach though. I had a falling with Ellie over a separate situation. The manipulation and lies have nothing to do with her thread. I don't know why Ellie is latching onto the idea of me discrediting her. That's not what I did. We were friends, we are not anymore. Falling out with Ellie is not an issue for all of you to try to spin or make up stories about what you think it's about. You're all wrong. What happened between Ellie and I shouldn't have been brought to public Twitter, but I guess this is the drama community and we all love some drama. Out of respect of what happened to Here for the Tea, can you all leave her out of your narrative drama for once? Ellie, we tried to explain to why we didn't agree with you anymore. You know it was never about your thread. It was always about your falling out with your friend and people taking side and control issues. It was about me wanting to tell the truth as to why I blocked someone, but you said to say something sentimental so they didn't lose their. It's about you becoming the thing you warned us about. I would suggest that everybody that's a step back and think about what's really important right now. Think about your loved ones. We can use this time right now to argue and hate each other, or we can take this time to spread love. But do what you want. I for one need to concentrate on my work as we're about to get hit with a pretty catastrophic event. Don't let Twitter stop you from trying to enjoy your life right now. Ellie, I wish you well. I don't want to fight with you. I want to have some peace, and I hope you find that too. To everybody else, good luck out there. About to get real. Now, hopefully they can all work everything out, but from the sounds of it, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But in regards to TeaTrigger's thread and saying that this has nothing to do with Ellie's thread, to me, I still just don't buy it because literally you took down your videos that used all of her facts to make those videos, and I don't understand why, and you never said why. If there was nothing wrong with those videos, they would have never have needed to be taken down. So clearly I don't know if the thread is false or if there's something wrong in the thread or anything like that. But to me, it does seem a little bit suspicious that the videos were taken down when clearly you said it has nothing to do with the thread. But I mean, my opinion, I just feel like something is up that you take those videos down.
I don't know why you're having such a hard time comprehending that, Bruce. He said it was a falling out between friends. And maybe, just maybe, the reason why he didn't keep those videos up is because the most important segment was on the third and last installment. And lo and behold, they aren't friends anymore, so maybe they couldn't complete the series.
Falling out with Ellie has nothing to do with her thread on the doxing. What happened to Here for the Tea happened to her, and the people that supported her doxing documented themselves online.
Noteworthy is the recent connection that Bruce has made with Nick Snyder and Dustin Daly. Both parties have shared their feelings about TeaTrigger. Simply put, they don't like each other.
If I don't like you, I don't like you.
And I don't like you. Are you happy? I don't like you.
Queen being a slur, historically, yes it is. It's been used in the early 20th century as a means to belittle gay men, mainly couples with the term of phrasing a pair of queens. However, many individuals within the queer community have made a case for the word being reclaimed and often used as a term of endearment to one another and, to an extent, empowerment. But this does not negate the fact that it can be used and may still be used as a derogatory term. Those who have had a negative history with the word should not have their comfort or feelings compromised for the sake of pleasing the majority.
Now, Bruce also claimed that TeaTrigger misgendered him by calling him a queen. Now, if this is true, it could just be a quick correction from him to Trig. One could say that this borders on mocking trans individuals, with the common joke made by anti-trans groups of, did you just assume my gender? However, you also said that Trigger used the slur against you as a gay man. Did he assume that you're a woman, or did he use a slur against you as a gay man? It's one or the other.
Reasonably, how would TeaTrigger actually know Bruce's distaste or struggle with the word queen? Especially since they haven't actually had that private conversation.
And confusion arises again when Bruce has shown that he is comfortable using the word whilst on Twitter, but has expressed that he finds it immensely triggering at the same time.
Bruce ends up tweeting out to Jeffree Star, "When you're the queen, everyone wants to take your crown."
So what's interesting is, Bruce, that when TeaTrigger came out of the closet and pretty much was forced to tell everybody he was bisexual, you made mention that unless you're on friendly terms, you still don't use that word. So the question is, are you best friends with Jeffree Star?
Okay, my troublesomes, opinion time. Opinion time.
Okay, hi, hello. I am part of the queer community, and I'm also someone who studies queer history as well. So I feel like I know a bit, not a lot, but I know a bit. So when Bruce is saying oh, queen is a slut, and there was a lot of people saying no, it's not, shut up, it ain't. And I'm like, actually, no, he's right. It is. Historically, it is. I know, I've read the documents. It's just not commonly used nowadays. I find it a little bit bizarre how you seem to think you're comfortable speaking for the majority of the queer community, even though many would come forward and say, no, it's okay. However, I do agree. It is incorrect to try and devalidate your feelings towards this word and your experiences with this word, because it's not fair. The queer community is generally very accepting because we all suffer various hardships, such as bullying, being thrown out of our houses, parents and family not accepting who we are as individuals. So I empathize. However, I have a problem with you trying to say, oh, everyone finds that word offensive, when it's a very vocal minority that only truly do, and it is because they have a negative association with it.
And I'm gonna chime in because you guys know, I guess I'm the most empathetic person there is on this platform, unfortunately or fortunately. So that being said, I'll be the first one to say that no one can refute Bruce's feelings about something. However, as we discussed earlier on in that video, Bruce felt comfortable sharing that terminology with Jeffree Star, and it's not the same to say that it's completely invalid, but Bruce, you have to also understand the fact that you leave people in a very interesting sort of place when trying to sympathize with you, and on top of that, you came at him with so much venom when you are so inclined with expecting people to have conversation. So it just makes your intention seem all the way off, especially when TeaTrigger did offer you an apology. And again, it's your choice to not accept said apology. However, it's not your choice to say that an apology was not granted and that he was not sincere in his apology. That is not your place to say what feelings TeaTrigger had in reference to directing his feeling of sorrows towards you.
Okay, so as the oldest person here, we won't say a specific age, but ancient. Anyway, I have been using queen long before RuPaul's Drag Race made it very, very popular to say. I understand Bruce. If I can't understand why Bruce doesn't like the term, especially if with what he said happened to him, that's horrific. I can understand it. I can. But he's not the spokesperson for the gay community. Quite honestly, I think Bruce was hyped up. I think he was hyped up by Nick and Dustin. Now, whether Nick and Dustin meant to hype him up, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I think that he got hyped up through them.
When TeaTrigger was perceivably forced in revealing his sexuality to the world, the backlash or the seeming rejection of him was very concerning. People turned it into a situation where he was bisexual at convenience. First of all, within the community, there are many people who are not comfortable with revealing their sexuality. I'd be the first to tell you, it's none of anybody's business what goes in or out of your pants. That's not anybody's business. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, if he decidingly chose to reveal himself or identify himself as a straight male, it is not for you to delegate his comfort regarding how he should be able to identify himself, just like it's not anybody's business to tell you, Bruce, how you're supposed to feel about the word queen. And I don't want you to get confused. Nobody here is telling you you can't feel the way you feel about the word queen. That is your journey, and we applaud you for being somebody in this world who is making something of themselves, and you are sharing your powerful moment, and that is commendable. But what happens, what causes the disagreement is the fact that you decided at that point that your pain was more powerful than anybody else's pain, and you refused to acknowledge the fact that TeaTrigger took a lot to be able to reveal himself, and you capitalized on the fact that people should reject and refuse to believe that he is this way, and this community is supposed to be about acceptance.
Talking about your sexuality is extremely tough, especially if you have parents who aren't accepting. And then to have people on the internet thinking it's okay to use certain terms to describe you is even more effed up on top of that. And the fact that he doesn't give a ish either is even more telling. I just want you to focus in on that first statement that Bruce left. Talking about your sexuality is extremely tough, especially if you have anybody who isn't accepting. See, Bruce, you shared a very intimate moment of your life with the subscriber who ended up commenting under your video, and I do feel as if you dropped the ball there. And that's not to say that you aren't a good person. That does imply that you may potentially owe TeaTrigger an apology, and if you don't think that you owe him an apology, at least to those who are looking up to you or who do respect your content, because that didn't seem like you. It didn't seem genuine, it didn't seem warm, and you lacked a lot of understanding. Because if you struggled with speaking on your sexuality, I'm sure when you dismissed TeaTrigger coming out as bisexual, it hurt him too.
I interject something actually.
Yeah.
Specifically about certain attitudes that I saw on Twitter afterwards that touched a nerve, let's just say. Mainly because I don't want to speak for every single bisexual individual, because again, I'm not like that. But I think a commonality that a lot of people say is you don't look bisexual enough, you don't look gay, you don't look straight. To which I did see Bruce say something along the lines of, oh, but Trig is straight passing. First of all, you can use that for anybody. There's no excuse. How is you supposed to put people in boxes when the whole point of this community is supposed to be just be who you are, enjoy it, and if you need help, we're here to help you. You're trying to put people into boxes again through using stereotypes, which have been proven to be quite damaging in the past. And What even does bisexual look like to you? What kind of stereotypes are you working off? And personally, not about that lifestyle. I've been told myself I look too straight or I act too gay. It shouldn't matter. I'm just who I am. And perhaps maybe the reason why it has touched nerve is because it is something personal to me. And I empathize with Trig because I know, because I have a number of friends, that bisexual men get a hell of a lot of flack because they're usually told that they're not masculine enough, or they're not real men, or they're secretly gay, but they're not quite all the way out yet. It's a lot of negative perpetuating of stereotypes, and I can't handle it. It's not fair on Trig, but it's also shouldn't even be discussed like that in the first place. I thought we moved past that type of thinking.
I agree a lot with everything that you guys are saying, and I don't really want to repeat anything. I think that I can offer a little bit of a different perspective as somebody who is a Native person who's had problems with the people that he hangs out with. And the experiences that I've had in the past with like their insensitivity, Bruce didn't have a problem with the insensitivity that they show towards me and other Native peoples, but suddenly, there's a huge deal with this, with the word queen. So I'm just kind of concerned about the lack of consistency and kind of like, where's the energy for a racial group?
So we know what Trig called him in the video. He called him a neutral, and I won't say the word because I don't want anybody to get upset because I understand he doesn't like that word, but he called him neutral. Bruce has never been neutral with TeaTrigger. Never. What was the one video that he put out where he literally showed TeaTrigger's explanation that the fight between him and Ellie had nothing to do with the thread, but he still ran with that narrative that Papa Nick and Papa Dustin was running with, that it was about the thread. Even though he showed where TeaTrigger literally said it was not about the thread. He's never been neutral. I'm sorry. Bruce knows how to put the good guy act on, I believe, and this is my own personal feelings, but Bruce knows how to put on that good guy act, but he's not neutral. He's never been neutral, especially with TeaTrigger. He's never been neutral. He's always pushed other people's narratives.
Which is concerning more so than from a YouTube point where people, they want commentators or drama channels to be neutral, which in my opinion is kind of an impossible thing to do. Exactly. But you can still work on that. But it's also concerning from just a personal point. Like, how can you treat other people this way?
One thing I want to say real quick is that I saw this on Twitter, and I believe it was Sharita who said this. She made a very excellent point, which links on to Chelsey's earlier point, which was how come when it comes to issues concerning you, suddenly you understand microaggressions, suddenly you understand all the nuances, the ins and outs of like, oh no, you can't use this term because it's offensive to these people for you. But if it concerns anyone else, suddenly I don't have time to learn, I don't want to learn about it. No, it's not my business. Oh, everyone shut up, you're overreacting, it's not that deep. And it's like, but then how is anyone supposed to take you seriously when it comes to an issue that personally affects you if you have that attitude towards something that someone else deems as personal and has that experience with it?
I want everybody, including people in my personal circle, myself, those who are outside of my own personal circle, to just always make sure to evaluate yourself. Make sure that you don't go into something with your guns blazing, because the fact of the matter is, when you have a close relationship with somebody, it's going to cause you to have natural biases, which is what ties into what Chelsey is saying. It's very difficult for anybody to be neutral in this community, especially when you build relationships with someone. However, I will say, when something bad happens, make it a priority to understand the struggles that other people are going through. If somebody is offended, just like Bruce wanted everybody to take knowledge of the fact that no one should tell him how he feels about that word, Bruce, I hope you extend that olive branch to somebody else. In the off chance that this was a whole bunch of baloney, be aware of what your impact is for future issues going in the future, because people become jaded after a while, when you start to falsify and hyper inflate something that actually doesn't mean anything to you. And this is why a lot of people become enraged, because when they actually have a true pressing matter about inequality, about oppression, about racism, about sharing someone's pain and their journey, nobody wants to hear their voice anymore. Like, oh, we've been there, we've done that, we heard that, okay, keep it moving, get over it.
Well, see, and that's the thing with me. I think I can understand Bruce's pain, especially after he put that explanation up on Twitter. I can understand him not liking that word. I 100% can understand that. But he didn't handle it. I mean, all it took was like a DM going, hey, dude, I don't need to tell you why. He didn't even have to tell him why. He didn't have to put it on Twitter why. But I'm not comfortable with being called queen because we're not on those terms. He could have handled it more, to me personally, he could have handled it more like an adult.
Professionally as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even think it's an adult response. I do agree with what you said. I don't really think it's an adult response. I think it's an emotional response. If Bruce is really hurt by it, he reacted. That's it. It's kind of like when somebody punches you, your whole thing is to flinch, back up, hit them back, do something. He reacted. So I don't think anybody should necessarily get upset with that, but I do like the word professionalism. If you are compelled to build relationships with people and to maintain them, then that is when you double back and say, oh, TeaTrigger, hey, this isn't okay. Or, hey, I reacted heavily and I just want to back up on it. Guys, if you go up on a hill, you don't have to die up there. You can come back down the hill, run back down, trip and fall and roll down that hill. You don't have to stay up there. If you made a mistake or you feel differently about something, come down the hill, because there's people waiting for you.
I mean, these are some learning moments for everybody, not just Bruce. And then people on both sides. I hate saying that, but whatever. When you have a problem with somebody, you don't need to quote tweet them and attract the entire community to comment on it and get everybody involved. That's how these situations blow up, when there's thousands and thousands of people that are seeing this stuff. You can just respond to that one person, or like Miracle said, maybe DM them or something. Like, if you are so hurt by something, then why do you want the entire community to see your hurt? Wouldn't you want to handle it yourself? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a private person.
No, that makes sense.
Fringey, are you frozen?
I think Fringey is frozen. She's in a perfect formation the whole time.
To close off this video, when it comes to words that you are sensitive to and someone does say it, I think the best method to go about it is, if it happens one time, assume it's a mistake. Educate them and let them know what's going on, whether it be for private conversation, public discussion, whichever you're most comfortable with. If it happens a second time, assume they burped and it came out by accident. But if it happens a third time, they probably did mean it, and they don't respect you. And if they don't respect your boundaries and how sensitive you are to that word, I say cut them off and walk away, because you don't deserve that treatment. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining our video today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to ding the notification bell. Check out all of our channels because we're all amazing and fabulous. And love you, okay, bye.
Done. Get me off of here. Get me off of here. Why am I still here?